Hey guys, so here we're going to be doing a review of the brand new Fontaines D.C album, Skinty Fia. This is the brand new third full-length studio album from Irish post-punk band Fontaines D.C, who in the span of 5 years has already gained a fairly big and reputable following in the post-punk scene, thanks to a lot of big singles, as well as the unique style of the vocalists, as well as their unique take on Irish politics, a topic that isn't really talked about that much in music of this level of popularity. And me personally, I've never been the hugest Fontaines DC fan, or I've failed to see some of the hype that people have been generating for them. Like, I get the musicians are very talented, and I do like a lot of the topics they write about. It's just they carry on a lot of elements that so many other post-punk bands have done in the past, and really ride those a little bit too much. And I know a lot of modern post-punk bands are utilizing and taking a lot of inspiration from other post-punk bands like Joy Division, but Fontaines DC kind of do it in a way that's a little too direct and don't really go for any sort of ambition, any sort of exuberance, and don't really like to push the boundaries too much. They just like to play it a bit too safe. Yes, they have solid riffs. Yes, they have good production. Yes, they have good lyrics, but nothing else beyond that. That's really how I thought about their last album. But going into this new album, I actually was fond of quite a few of the singles. For example, we have the song Jackie Down the Line, which instrumentally kicks off really well. I love the way the bass line and the drums blend together so nicely. They're very on tune, very on time, well produced. The guitar chords that come in add a nice touch to it, and the vocal delivery is quite good. I just think the biggest issue with this song is by the halfway point, you've pretty much heard everything this song has to offer sonically and vocally, as the band doesn't really do anything to extend beyond this. They don't really know what else to add on there. Aside from some acoustic guitar that happens during a random cooldown period in the song, there's not much that it offers sonically, but it does have a great start. But I think my favorite single was I Love You, which probably has become my favorite Fontaines DC song, more because of the lyrics though. While I do think the instrumental is nice and I do like the passages it goes through, it definitely is not as noteworthy as the passage that the lyrics go through and the quick turn of events in the songwriting, as the song starts off with as sounding like a love song towards another lover. It starts off very cute, very passionate, very intimate, until it quickly turns into something different. So it starts off like a pretty love song, but then it quickly takes a turn of events in the third verse where the true character is revealed. It's referring to the controversial Irish Archbishop John Charles McQuaid, who, if you want to look up some of the terrible things he was involved with the Irish government a long time ago, you can look that up. But one of the main factors that the narrator dives into on this topic within this song is the incarceration of young unmarried women, and how 75% of their babies, their children, were taken away from them or killed as a result of some of the religious ideologies that went into the conservative political views in Ireland during this time. And the way the band goes about it, making it out to be a love song at the start, then making a darker turn, is very clever, and yeah, probably results in my favorite Fontaines DC single. So yeah, with these singles, I was actually kind of hyped for this album, or a little bit more excited than I was before, but now that we have the full album, I would say it is a pretty mixed bag. Mixed bag to the point where there are still some songs here that are really lacking in substance, lacking in detail, lacking in distinction or uniqueness, but there are some actual good highlights here. Like the opening track, which opens with a pretty cool bass line and a vocal sample layered on there that kind of drives the entire instrumental. But we get some progression here, and we get some more gritty, pluckier guitars mixed with some more melancholy vocals within the song, and actually turns out for a pretty great tone setter for the album. We also have the song Big Shot, which is another impressive moment on this album sonically. Not the greatest instrumental I've ever heard, but one that hits hard, mixed with the lyrical topic of this song, just basically saying how a lot of people out here are missing out on their chance to make something of themselves, to be successful or do what they've dreamed of. A lot of people, more people than what they think, get their shot at being able to achieve something, but they never take it. Sadly, it doesn't take long for the album to hit a low point. as the song right after, How Cold Love is a generic guitar-driven attempt at being a harder-hitting sentimental ballad, which the lyrical sentiment is okay, but just the generic instrumental mixed with not the most emotion-packed or awe-inspiring vocal delivery, it's not enough to carry the song. We also have the song Jackie Down the Line, which we talked about, and then we have the song Bloomsday, which, again, opens up really cool to a hard-hitting prog-inspired guitar-driven instrumental that really goes well with the vocal performance here, but once again, it really seems like the band have utilized almost all the ideas they have for this song at the very start, as the rest of the track just runs dry with very little to no other ideas added aside from some extra acoustic guitar layers. There's just nothing else that really gets added on this song, which is a real shame because it starts off great. But thankfully, after this point, the second half of the album, I think, is a lot stronger than the first half, and we actually get some really solid tracks here. We have the song Roman Holiday, which mixed with the more eclectic guitar, with the acoustic guitar, and the subtle drum patterns, makes for a really nice slow burner type instrumental, and one of the few that doesn't really need a whole lot of progression here, because of how nicely they're mixed and because of the lyrical sentiment, but we do get some extra drums at the end, which is really good. We have the song The Couple Across the Way, which definitely gets the award for the most authentic but funniest instrumental here. It's literally an accordion-driven instrumental, which is something that you don't hear that often in songs like this, but I think it's quite cool. And given what the story is telling about this couple that wants to be personal, but doesn't end up being very personal due to the stuff that's going on both within them and outside of them with their neighbors, it seems like a lot of things have been exposed, and the narrator tells us like it's something sad, but at the same time not realizing that it seems like it's kind of his fault. And the highlights keep going, as right after we get the title track, which is a very punchy bass line mixed with some great drums and a slightly industrial guitar chords, which really make way for nice passage in between, and also a ghostly vocal sample, or I don't know what it is, that you can hear deep in the background. Yeah, another highlight on here instrumentally. Then we get the song I Love You, which I talked about, and then we have the closing track, which I will say is almost, if not just as solid as the other two tracks before that. I think this one definitely has one of my favorite instrumentals here. I love the post-punk style guitars mixed with the Phase You, Daze You hook, which is mesmerizing, and all the other layers we get added. But as much as I love the instrumental, I think this is another highlight lyrically, as the lyrics here border between ironic, serious, and also kind of hilarious, as it's an exaggerated point of view of giving yourself in and being prepared for the intimacy that you're going to be preparing yourself for if you want to get into a relationship. Basically, bleeding yourself dry, as it says in the lyrics, because, yeah, what you're going to have to do in this love is totally going to wear you dry, and I think they take this exaggerated point of view quite well here, and it does lead to a great closing track. So yeah, overall, I like this new Fontaines D.C album. Is it one of my favorite rock albums of the year, or do I think it's going to go as one of my favorite rock albums or post-punk albums of the year, especially among all the other post-punk acts we've been getting? I don't think so, and I do still think there are some tracks here that either lack substance or are kind of borderline generic or just really are degrading on ideas, but there are also some great highlights here, some improvements with the production, the instrumentals, the ideas, some great lyrics here, just like they had on their previous stuff, but combined, like I said, with some better production and some more harder hitting instrumentals and better chemistry from the band. And while I don't love this album, I like this album. There are quite a few tracks here, especially on the second half, that I do see myself coming back to, and I'm actually looking forward to seeing what this Irish rock band is up to next. And that's why I'm giving this album a light 7 out of 10. Well, thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed watching the video, let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, tell me what you thought of this album, what was your favorite track, what was your least favorite track, and stay tuned for the next review. But until then, guys, I will catch you later on the next episode of Rhino Rates Music. Have yourself a good day. Bye-bye.